This is 7-5 Radio with Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop Stanton. This is the radio show that will break your neck if your neck needs breaking. And here are the hosts of 7-5 Radio, Walter Yerkew, star of the biggest documentary movie ever made, The 7-5, and Peter Scoop Stanton, who starred in To Catch a Predator.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all. This is Peter Scoop Stanton with Walter Yerkew on 7-5 Radio, live on the Liberty News Radio Network. It is Saturday, September 3rd, 2022, and we are living in different times. Walter, are you with us, my friend?
Yeah, of course I'm with you, man. It's
okay, because
I
know.
What?
I know sometimes we had some issues in the stretch Kia going to our Tennessee studios. The cell signal is not that strong. How we do it?
It just so happens, it's the 3rd of September, a day you'll always remember. Yes, I will.
How we doing tonight, my friend?
We're doing good, man. We're doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing okay, but let's talk about that at a different time. As always, we want to remember Little Billy Keebler and the men and the alleged woman of the Onondagas, New York Fire Department. We want to say hi. Thank you for listening. Also, we always want to remember the men and women who were murdered in the line of duty in the law enforcement community. Fortunately, this week, we have no names to read off, and we have no names to read off who were killed by other means, automobile accidents, training accidents, things of that nature. But anyway, stay safe out there, one and all. But anyways, next order of business. Let's get down to brass tacks. This past Thursday, I witnessed something I have never, ever seen in my half-century plus on this earth. President Joseph Biden went to Independence Hall in Philadelphia, which now looked like the stage High Chancellor Adam Sutler took in the movie V for Vendetta. And Joe Biden's speech at Independence Hall sounded just like High Chancellor Adam Sutler made in V for Vendetta. Biden did not talk about unity, peace, prosperity, strength, family, entrepreneurship, growth, patriotism, or God. He talked about Donald Trump and his supporters. President Trump has been out of office for over a year and a half, and Joe Biden can't stop talking about him. And President Biden called Donald Trump and his supporters a threat. And what do we do with the threat? You eliminate the threat by getting rid of it, either putting it in jail or putting it in the ground. So Joe Biden called his predecessor a threat. Meanwhile, in Biden's speech, there's no mentions of China, no mentions of crime, no mentions of inflation, no mention of fentanyl, no mention of the border, 3 mentions of President Trump's, 3 mentions of extremism, 13 mentions of MAGA, and 16 mentions of Republicans. That's just in this short speech. And to make matters worse, Joe Biden had 2 Marines posted behind him as window dressing. Joe Biden has done nothing for the Department of Defense but dismantle it, push this bullcrap woke agenda, but he wants some window dressing. And then Biden said that the MAGA crowd does not support the Constitution or the rule of law. That's a lie. We support the Constitution, and we're mad as hell that it's being treated like a dish rag. Biden also claimed that the MAGA crowd fought with the cops on January 6th. He brought up January 6th again, which occurred again a year and a half ago. And what's funny is that Tucker Carlson, he did a expose on January 6th, and he did a bang-up job because the few knuckleheads that did decide to fight with the cops, other people were yelling and screaming, "Don't fight with the cops." Alex Jones was accused of egging people on to fight with the cops and storm the Capitol, but he is on a bullhorn screaming like a madman, don't fight the cops. And also on January 6th, President Biden forgot to mention that the MAGA crowd took pictures with the cops. But he mentioned Donald Trump on January 6th. It's like we're still in 2020. Also, go ahead. You have something to say, Walt?
Yeah, well, he does think it's still 2020.
Maybe he thinks it's 1965 or something. Then he said that the MAGA supporters are threatening FBI agents, and that's 100% false. Nobody's threatening FBI agents. Nobody's threatening the FBI. If you are, you're just a nut job out there. But nobody in conservative media or just the MAGA crowd is threatening the FBI. We're just mad that the FBI is doing what they did back in the days of J. Edgar Hoover. They're not doing their jobs. Fentanyl's coming in by the truckload. We got legal aliens all over the place. Our cities are turned into a war zone. And anyways, but the FBI is going after President Trump and saying that the Gadsden flag, the Gonzales flag, and the Betsy Ross flag and other patriotic symbols are symbols for violent right-wing terrorists. But again, Biden said nothing about Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Biden did, in previous speeches, he trashed the cops, especially during the George Floyd riots. Now, you can say that he went to the Rafael Ramos funeral in New York back in 2014, but he was sent there by Barack Obama. Democrat voters fight the cops all day, every day. Biden also went after the military and government employees and government contractors for not getting vaccinated. Joe Biden kept this country shut down, and now he's weaponizing the IRS against who? The MAGA crowd. Anyways, Biden has an absolute perfect score. He's batting 1,000 in destroying this country. Build Back Better is a flop. Nothing is built. Nothing came back, and actually nothing is better. We gave billions to Ukraine while leaving Afghanistan in the exact same way that we found it. The southern border looks like Mexican Woodstock all day, every day. We had, like I said before, we had tractor trailers full of fentanyl coming across the borders every day. Gas is still a fortune. Thousands of blue-collar workers lost six-figure incomes because Biden shut down the Keystone Energy Pipeline and drilling other places. People can't afford to buy groceries. Today I bought groceries, filled half a cart for just my kids. That is over $100. And, of course, our cities look like Mogadishu now. It's just absolutely just hell on earth, and the cops are just being outgunned, outbanned, out everything. And Biden's worried about people just pissed off. What say you about this situation with Biden going after Trump and his supporters?
Well, you know, what happens is when you're afraid of somebody, you badmouth them when they've done nothing to you. But for some reason, the left is so afraid of Trump. It's come down to a president trying to bully a former president. And he's not even running for any office.
Right. Anyways, when we come back, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about a racist local government employee and the subway turning into Dodge City. Stay tuned, everybody. This is 75 Radio on the Liberty News Radio Network.
Have you ever heard of Loving Liberty Ladies? Well, the Loving Liberty Ladies are here to help you learn our American heritage and the way it affects today's society. The Loving Liberty Ladies also have a discussion guide called Proclaim Liberty. And with this guide, you can start your own group in your hometown. Get yours today on our website at lovingliberty.net. Look for our lesson supplements, too. They're free. To hear all the special offers and to join the fight for freedom and liberty, please go to lovingliberty.net.
The spirit of the American West is alive and well in Range Magazine, the award-winning quarterly devoted to the issues of the American West. Each issue contains informative articles, breathtaking imagery, as well as the culture of cowboy spirit today, and gift ideas, like this year's Buckaroo calendar. Order online from rangemagazine.com. Loving Liberty Network salutes the spirit of the American West at rangemagazine.com.
This is a battle between truth and deceit, a battle between forces that would enslave this country in darkness, and between a media that wants to present you with the truth. We are being censored. America's news outlets no longer provide the truth. 90% of news outlets in the United States are controlled by 6 corporations. The mission of the Epoch Times is to chase the truth, to ground all statements in fact.
TheEpochTimes.com.
We at Freedom Factor have a passion for our shared American heritage and want to help restore some of that American pride by emphasizing the documents that made us Americans. Our goal is to put pocket constitutions into the hands of every American and in every school. This effort requires your help. Order your pocket constitutions and browse our website at freedomfactor.org to learn how you can help spread the message of freedom. Read it, know it, share it. freedomfactor.org.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting back from posting insults on Twitter. This is still 7.5 Radio.
All right, we are back. We're talking about XLV for Vendetta. Joe Biden has called MAGA supporters a threat. Anyways, well, before our first break, you were making an excellent point about Joe Biden going after Trump. Please continue.
Well, yeah, he's just a puppet. We all know that. Pedophile Joe, he's just a puppet. And he was told to attack Trump. Now, I don't think he would know Trump if he walked into him. He's directed to say these things because, of course, in 3 months, there's 2 months, actually, midterm elections are here, and they're scared to death. And he's bad-mouthing a guy who isn't even running for office in 2 months, for any office. I think if he ran for office wherever he wanted to, he would win. However, you have the Biden faction is just afraid. You got Pelosi in the wings and Chuckles up in New York. These people are just scared to death of Donald Trump. Now, whether Donald Trump runs or not, there's always going to be somebody to have to say something. Let's say Donald Trump does not run. They're going to say, oh, he's afraid to run because he might lose again. And if he does run, well, what's the matter with him? Doesn't he know he's going to lose again? So it's a damned if he does and damned if he don't, if he chooses to run or not. And you got Biden here anticipating, and then, of course, there'll be a denial that he said anything bad about Trump once Trump wins the election in 24. Yeah, because that's what they do. They say crap, and then, a month later, 6 months later, a year later, they deny it ever happened. So, with what you just said a few minutes ago, how his speech is plagiarized, that's what Biden has done throughout his entire political career for over 50 years. He's always plagiarized. He's always picked out what he says, oh, that's good to say. Let me say that too. The same thing about his college. He backed out of the 1988 election, because he cheated on his testing in law school. So how does he get to run for president again? 30 years later, the guy's just a farce. He's a puppet. That's all he is a puppet. And the left does not want a puppet. I mean, the left wants a puppet. They don't want somebody in there that's going to do something like what Donald Trump did in 4 years. Somebody told me today gas came down almost 70 cents a gallon. I says, no, it didn't. It's still up 220 from what it was 3 years ago. So those are just bones that the left feels that say, hey, gas went down 70 cents a gallon. He must be doing something right. No, he shouldn't have went up $4 a gallon. So his speech reached nobody except who wants to hear what he says. And that's all it is. It's just air up your ass, and that's the end of it. That's it. To all you liberals out there.
Right. Well, do you think the government's going to come after us, or have they done so already? Because I think with all these, 87,000,
they have the key in the lock, as the saying goes. They have the key in the lock. Okay, the next step is for them to try to win the midterms to unlock that lock, and then in the 24 election, it's to open the door to what you just said, to open the door and take everything away from us. It's a process in their mind.
Right, and well, I don't know about your situation, but I have nothing much left. I mean, I have no savings. My car is 8 years old with 95,000 miles on it, and then my retirement for my employer is just losing money. And then I have something called 457, which is like a 401k. That's also draining, like going down the toilet. So I mean, and I'm not the only one, but it's God Almighty. I hope that God, either Trump or DeSantis wins. And I'm just sick of this is, well, like you said before, this is by design. We're supposed to just keep suffering it and keep going towards the bottom. And unfortunately, the Republicans are going to be sitting on their ass doing nothing. You got the gobbler, Mitch McConnell, talking like Foghorn Leghorn, doing nothing. You got
well, the design is to, make everything, expensive. Okay, and hard to come by, and blame it on the outside countries. And then a year or so later on, when things start to loosen up, the people are led to believe that it's actually our government that's easing things up on us. But they were the cause of it to begin with. They're the cause of it to begin with.
Right.
All the ships sitting out there out in the Pacific waiting to come into dock to bring in products from outside countries and things like that. I had a friend of mine, he was waiting for a Genesis of all things. You believe I got a friend that has money to buy a Genesis? His vehicle has been sitting out on a cargo ship for 6 months. Right. I'm waiting for a heater for my hot tub, a replacement heater for my hot tub for two months now. It's just not coming in. So, when it comes in, I'm supposed to be grateful.
Right.
I'm supposed to be grateful when it comes in.
Right. Do you have enough gas in the car to go pick it up?
So, it's just, like I said, he's fooling, some of the people. And those people are fooling other people by saying, yeah, he's bringing prices down. Gas is coming down. Yeah, gas is coming down. It's they are coming down. But they forget to mention that it was $1.14 in Chattanooga 3 years ago. So it's still 3 times as much as it used to be. I paid gas. What was it? I think it was $3.39 a gallon today. According to the statistics, that's a bargain.
Right. Which is ridiculous. And then
it's not. But it's not a bargain around where I live because of the style of the income. The income is average of $40,000-$60,000 a year. Whereas in other cities, people are making $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. What about the people that are on fixed incomes?
Well, screw. They get screwed.
You go half the distance for 3 times the money.
Yeah. It's all by design, and then the same people that work for Biden, they say, "Well, go out and buy. If you can't afford gasoline, go buy an electric car, and then you buy an electric car if you can even afford one, because nobody can afford like gasoline powered cars, new or used. Go buy an electric car, and then you replace some batteries at $5,000 a pop. Then if you live in places like California, they're telling you don't charge your cars because we're gonna have brownouts throughout the state. And then in 2035, California, led by Democrat Gavin Newsom, is going to outlaw gasoline-powered vehicles. I mean, good luck with the ambulance or fire department coming to your house. Please come to your house when somebody's stealing your Tesla, or farmers harvesting the crops with electric tractors. But you're right. It's all by design. They're coming after us, and we sit by and do nothing. Like, yeah, Mitch McConnell, he'll take care of us. No. Representative McCarthy take care of us. No. Dan Crenshaw, he's already showed his true colors. Just garbage. And it's like Bob Grant used to say, it's sick and getting sicker. and we got nowhere to turn. So, fortunately tonight there was a rally in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, which is where Joe Biden lived when he was a toddler 100 years ago, and I can imagine the noise in that arena was just off the chain. But is Donald Trump the answer? I don't know. Probably not, but it's better than what this guy has. And if you notice, we talked about this time and time again. Joe Biden picked Kamala Harris because she's such an absolute zero that nobody wants her. So that way he gets to do what he's told to do and just keep screwing up this country. And those who live in these urban areas, who vote Democrat and drive electric vehicles and have your little rainbow flags and Black Lives Matter shirt and stuff like that, I mean, wake the flip up. You are nothing but an absolute just useful idiot like Brian Stelter. And you wonder why your neighborhood's not safe. Well, because of Democrats. You wonder why you can't buy gasoline because of Democrats. Or you go to Whole Foods, which is owned by a Fortune 10 company, not Fortune 500, Fortune 10, and because of Democrats. But anyways, we come back, we'll talk about a local, I guess, Democrat, local employee who just absolutely hates white people. And if anybody said what she said about people of color, well, we would have been hung by the gallows. Anyway, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. 75radio.org, 75radio.org. Take it away, boys.
Your daily Liberty News Wire. You're listening to Liberty News Radio. USA Radio News with Kenneth Burns.
A rogue pilot in Mississippi landing in a field and into charges of grand larceny and making terroristic threats. The pilot has been identified as Corey Wayne Patterson, an employee of Tupelo Aviation. Officials say he did not have a license to fly, though he did have some flight instruction. He circled the skies of northern Mississippi for several hours, threatening to crash his plane into a Walmart at one point. Patterson could also face federal charges. NASA scrubbed the launch of its crew capsule into lunar orbit Saturday due to a fuel leak. The second time in a week that they canceled the launch. It was a scratch on Monday when they discovered escaping hydrogen. No word on when NASA might try again. Repairs could possibly bump the launch until October. For the first time since the pandemic began, Jehovah's Witnesses are once again doing their door-to-door ministry. Practitioners call it a crucial part of their faith. This is USA Radio News.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow offering the BOGO extravaganza right now on a whole slew of MyPillow products. Now you can find all sorts of great deals on MyPillow bed sheets, Giza Elegance MyPillow, 6-piece towel sets, Roll and Go Anywhere pillows, much more, all priced buy one, get one free. Go to mypillow.com/USA, use promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175 and find you some great MyPillow products. They're all available. Oh, by the way, you can also get Mike's book absolutely free with any purchase, but you have to go to mypillow.com/USA or call 1-800-951-8175 and make sure you use the promo code. The buy one, get one extravaganza going on right now at mypillow.com.
The Houston Texans begin their season in a couple of weeks at home against the Indianapolis Colts. When that happens, the school shooting in Uvalde will be heavy on their hearts.
The team announcing Friday that they will be sporting an Uvalde Strong helmet sticker when they take on the Colts. Earlier this week, the Texans traveled to Uvalde to visit with high school football players. They're gifting the team new uniforms thanks to Nike. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
Former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev was laid to rest on Saturday. His reforms have been credited for ending the Cold War. He also precipitated the breakup of the Soviet Union, which he called the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century. Notably absent from the funeral, Russian President Vladimir Putin. He claimed that he was too busy to attend. Gorbachev died on Tuesday at the age of 91. Online at usaradio.com, you are listening to USA Radio News.
you're still listening? Here's more 7-5 Radio.
And we are back. Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop staying on 7-5 Radio. Check us out at 75radio.org. The number 75radio.org. Next story is about somebody who works for Fairfax County, Virginia government. Now, a little bit about Fairfax County, Virginia. Fairfax County is a bedroom community outside Washington, D.C. that is full of backstabbing, America-hating, phony commies. Everybody in Fairfax, Virginia is a government employee, government contractor, has something to do with the government, and has lots of money. People like you and me don't belong. You don't see any cops, firefighters, nurses, teachers, bartenders, mechanics, business owners, anybody who really works for a living in Fairfax County. Anyways, the county government competes with other jurisdictions in this area to be the most pinko leftist commie America hating. The government of Fairfax County came up with something right out of George Orwell called One Fairfax. This is supposed to be an equity policy. They try to reflect the population or some whatever garbage. Go to the county website. Needless to say, white people can go to hell if they want to work for the county of Fairfax, except for the police department, because like everybody else, they're hurting for bodies. I think if you are in a wheelchair, you can probably get a job with your local police department. But anywho, the County Park Authority has hired a new executive director. Her name is Jai Cole. She was born and raised in Fairfax County, so of course she thinks she's better than everybody else. Anyways, this past June, Ms. Cole held a town hall meeting with all park employees. This was on a private channel or intranet, because you have the internet where everybody can look at it. You have intranet where certain agencies, organizations want to keep it within house. But anyways, this 1 hour, 2 minute, and 51 second diatribe by Ms. Cole does nothing but crap all over white people, to put it bluntly. If you watch this, they talk about redlining and how everything's racist and how people of color in these poor neighborhoods live in hotter neighborhoods than people next door in white neighborhoods because of I don't know what. But it is the most anti-white racist piece of garbage. Now, she works with the Park Authority, the Parks Department. What does equity, social equity, racism, anti-racism, critical race theory have to do with parks? I don't know. But if you watch this is done on county time, county resources, and then everybody who works for the Park Authority had to watch this thing. And so you're paying these people you're wasting thousands of dollars so she can crap all over white people, and nobody says a word. But again, if I had her job and talked the way I do on the radio, the website, or social media, or anybody else, the dumpster fire media would be all over me, call me a racist, and they would have doxed me. They would have been in my house, which I say go right ahead, because you don't want to live in that neighborhood. Come by that neighborhood. And then I lose my job. But again, she's right. She's got the right amount of melanin in her on her skin, and she talks about the right things, and she does not bring up the fact that these people in these neighborhoods live in food deserts, live in criminally prone neighborhoods because of the people that live in the neighborhoods, not because of the white man. But Ms. Cole is an American. She is in the United States. And for the time being, she can believe whatever she wants. But for her to bring up this racist diatribe at her job to other employees that work under her is just beyond stupid and just incorrigible. Again, she runs the Park Authority, not EEOC, not Civil Rights Office, but the Park Authority. Trees and playground and things to do. But anyways, don't look for the media to bat an eye. I went to another conservative outlet I'm not going to name, and nobody wanted to touch us with a 10-foot pole. But again, 7-5 Radio is the only media outlet to have her PowerPoint presentation online. Go to 75radio.org, watch this piece of garbage, and just make sure you have an empty stomach, because it's just absolutely horrendous. But one more thing, Ms. Cole talks about park inequality based on race and income. I mean, they're public parks, but anyways, one of her beautiful parks is called Burke Park, which is close to the Prince William County border. Now, I'm familiar with Prince William County for obvious reasons. I don't have money to live in Fairfax County. Prince William County is majority minority. Let me say that again. Prince William County is majority minority because these people cannot live in Fairfax County. Now, on the weekends, this particular park, Burke Park, charges $10 per car for if the occupants are not from Fairfax County, which means you're coming from D.C., you're coming from Prince George's County, Maryland, you're coming from Prince William County, and you're not a county resident, you have to pay $10. So it's a way to keep poor black and brown people out of the parks. And by the way, Ms. Cole earns a measly $196,000. Let me say it again. Ms. Cole, who don't like white people, who spent an hour talking about how she don't like white people suck, earns $196,000. That's a great gig if you can get it. Walt, anything you want to say about Ms. Cole and her wonderful presentation?
Well, she's wrong in what she did. She's using, a civil servant's platform to spew out her garbage. Number two, I was only in Fairfax, Virginia, just once. We had to land there because there was a storm at LaGuardia. So it's kind of like Watertown, New York. I did 2 years in Watertown, New York. I never saw the city.
Right. Well, anyways, that's the way it is because and years ago this used to be it was like Long Island, very very Republican, very is Reagan country. But then demographics being what they are, then the more or less the Republicans, the old people start dying off or moving away, moving down to Florida. And then you get all these interlopers coming from New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, California, Pennsylvania. They're coming down here and just ruining everything, including, the same idiots that hired Miss Cole, give her $196,000. Good God Almighty! But that's that's where we're headed. That's why I cannot wait to move out of this area and in some place, where I could be with my people, normal people. And that's why I talk about going to my folks' place, because you meet normal people. You might have $1 million in the bank, or you might have $10 in the bank, but everybody's the same. They don't care, what you have, what you don't have, just as long as you're a good, decent person. But anyways, next we go from somebody earning $196,000 to somebody who don't want to pay $1.96 on the subways. I live in the Washington, D.C. area, as y'all know. I work in the Washington, D.C. area, and sometimes I take the Washington, D.C. subway. And recently I decided that I am no longer going to bring myself, or especially my children, on Washington, D.C. subways. Why? Because it turned into something like you saw in the original Death Wish. Just nothing but wall-to-wall crime, and nothing's being done about it. And it's what the city streets look like. It's the war zone. I used to bring my kids on it's called the Metro here in DC instead of the subway. And anyways, this past couple of weeks there's a shooting at LaFont Plaza, which is a big station. It's a transfer station. A stabbing in Metro Center, which is another big station, transfer station. There's been people shooting at trains, people shooting in stations, and just constantly muggings and fights, and people brandishing weapons. And then you got guys on the train just being perverts and just like the flashes back in the 70s wearing a raincoat. But I just refuse to. I'm done with it, and I'm And the transit cops are like every other cop in this country. They got their hands tied and they're told not to do anything. And the district council in Washington voted to make the crime of theft of service or fare evasion a civil offense instead of a criminal offense. Not a civil offense like a speeding ticket, but like a civil offense like a parking ticket. And the reason given is that the fare evasion affects too many young men of color. But anyways, we'll come back. We'll talk about the subways in D.C. and everywhere else. I was just gone to hell. Anyway, stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back.
Come celebrate the supreme law of the land at Loving Liberty's Constitution Day dinner. Have you ever asked yourself, what's so great about America? Find out with guest speakers Lawrence Reed from Atlanta and Jeff Utsch from Tucson, Arizona. We will also be introducing our new podcast, Ask an Immigrant. Join us Saturday, September 17th at 7 p.m. Located at Liberty Hall, 3677 North 2000 West, Far West, Utah. Get your tickets today at lovingliberty.net. That's lovingliberty.net.
Have you ever had great honey? No, I mean really good, all-natural, raw honey? Well, now you can, thanks to localhoneyman.com. We can ship out our locally made honey all across the U.S. So don't worry, you won't miss out. Plus, Local Honeyman has so many different flavors, like Utah Wildflower, High Desert Delight, Happy Valley, and Blackberry, just to name a few. So purchase your delicious raw honey today at localhoneyman.com.
Do you treasure your liberty? Well, at lovingliberty.net, we most certainly do. And we want to help protect your liberty too. Become part of the family. Everyone knows that the core of any society is the family. Therefore, the government should foster and protect the integrity of its family, we the people. Won't you join us as a Loving Liberty sponsor to help us promote the principles in the 5,000-year leap? Let's restore the miracle that changed the world at lovingliberty.net.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
And we're back. This is, once again, the fastest hour in radio. I still haven't finished this segment. Anyways, talk about the D.C. Metro or the subway in D.C. I'm not taking my kids on the system. I'm not going to ride the system anymore because it's just crime-ridden like the streets. And we all know who's doing this, but nobody wants to face facts. The D.C. Council said, well, you know what, we're going to decriminalize it and then defund the police. But anyways, I used to work for the Transit Bureau of the NYPD. These young men of color that were stopped for hopping the turnstile had either drugs or guns or warrants or all three most of the time. And those who didn't either got a warning or got a summons. But these people jumping the fare gates do not give a hoot about paying the fare or anything else. And folks, I'm just telling you right now, these people coming in, jumping the turnstile, they dress better than me. They have newer phones than me. They got money for fast food and whatever else they spend their money on, except for the train fare to get from point A to point B. And then forget the George Floyd factor. These D.C. transit cops were already disenfranchised. They're told, don't be proactive. Don't go looking for stuff. And I've told that bosses have no problem opening files on proactive cops. So imagine you got a guy like me or Walt or Jim Lance, we're out there working for transit police, and boss is like, hey, stop that. We're gonna have to put paperwork on this incident where you might have used too much force. But that's what's going on here in D.C. and many the jurisdictions. Then add the fact that they decriminalized fare evasion, just giving these guys carte blanche to do whatever the hell they want. Anyways, and forget about protecting yourself, because we do have the Second Amendment, and in Virginia, you do have the right to carry. It's much easier to get a firearm in the Commonwealth of Virginia than in D.C. or Maryland. But once again, the Transit Authority stepped in and said you cannot protect yourself and you cannot bring a firearm while riding the metro system in Virginia, even if you are licensed and have a permit. So you're defenseless against these savages, and nothing's going to get done until I don't know what, till nobody rides the system anymore, because it's headed that way, because it's just actually hell on earth. Anyways, Joe Biden has been living in town, the city, for 40-something years, and he's done nothing. He's worried about Trump supporters are a threat, but you got guys riding the trains right near the White House, Vermont Avenue. I think that's McPherson Square Station, right by Vermont Avenue, closest station, White House. He doesn't do a damn thing about it because he's never ridden the metro system, and he has people with service missiles ready to go to work if need be. And the local politicians, the D.C. mayor, they do not ride the subway because they know better. But they drive very nice cars, though. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, well, what say you about the people just acting a fool in the subway system?
I haven't been on the subway in probably it's been like 5 years or so, six years or so that I was on the subway. The subway is the fastest way to get around town. Okay, however, you take your life into your hands if you get on the subway these days. I remember asking my father when I was a little kid when we were taking the subway in Manhattan, why do we got to pay for this? And he said, because it's the right thing to do. The city has to make money. And I remember him telling me this. All right. Now, I guess the city doesn't give a crap if they make money or not, because they'll just raise your taxes. They'll just raise your taxes. It's unbelievable that not only do the mutts find a way around the system, but our government mutts find a way around the system too. All right. Well, we lost. They'll say, well, let's say, for argument's sake, well, we found out in 2019 we lost $3 million or $30 million in revenue as opposed to 2018. So what we have to do in 2022 is for 2023 raise the property taxes of all the homeowners, building owners, property owners will raise their taxes to make up for that loss. So when 220 comes in and 221 comes in, we could start saying that our money is being put back where it belongs. But the money should be put back where it belongs as soon as you come down the stairs and go onto a subway. You slide your little card. I'm still a token guy. I never use the card. So you put your little token in the machine, and that's your duty to pay the city for using the subway. Like I said, it was the cheapest, the fastest way to get in and out of the city and up and down the city. And it still is. But you don't want to do it because now you have people living in the subways. They had to close off the restrooms in the subways. I remember when I was a little kid, I was maybe 4 or 5, you could actually use the subway bathrooms. Now that it's just storage or people are living in them. So, right. It's a rat hole. I think what they should do is what you do with a broken built-in swimming pool. Just fill it up with concrete and forget about it.
Right. And now here in D.C., they're having a problem with these youngsters getting into the cabs of the train. A cab is where the motorman operates the train from point A to point B. But every train car has a cab, so they're able to kick a door and the whole train is all aligned. So you hit a circuit breaker, or you hit something in that cab in a car, in a different car on the train. Guess what? It's going to affect the whole train. So these kids are just acting wild, and of course the transit cops are nowhere to be seen. When I rode the subway in D.C., I never saw a transit cop in the middle of the train car. When I worked the subways, I was a cop in the middle of the train car looking up and down that train car until I got off on the next stop. But, that's D.C. in a nutshell. And it's just, like I said before, it's sick and getting sicker. And there's a story here on the local NBC affiliate that the Transit Authority, the Washington Transit Authority, loses $25 million a year. So we got people all over social media just trashing the Transit Authority. Oh, Metro sucks. Train sucks. They have these problems, signal problems. They got fires. The train derails. And they say, fix it. But then they don't mention the fact, nobody looks at the fact that, hey, they're losing $25 million a year and then some because these people, of a certain color, certain race, and certain zip codes, they hop in the fare gate with reckless abandon. They don't care. You have whole families hopping the fare gate, and it's sad. But they don't mention that. They don't mention, hey, transit police, go stop these people and put them in jail, make an example of them, or have them pay. You don't mention about that, but then, when Metro can't fix something because they don't have any money, and COVID's been very mean to the Transit Authority. Nobody's been running the system because everybody's been home. Then they get all over the Transit Authority, and it sucks for Metro because, we can't enforce the laws for fare evasion because there's no more laws now. And when we did enforce the laws, people still got all uppity because the cops are doing their jobs. And then now they don't have any, they can't afford the fare, they're not collecting the fare, and now things are breaking down, they've still been breaking down, and there's no money there. But it's still all Metro's fault. But that's DC in a nutshell. But I'll pay close attention what happens in the DC Metro system, and I would imagine that New York City, Baltimore, Chicago, I imagine their transit system is going to the same thing. But anyways, we got a couple minutes left. Some good news during the news break. You heard about during the time of COVID, Jehovah's Witnesses did not visit people's homes. So say what you wish about COVID, two good things happened. One was Rage Against the Machine. They had to postpone their tour to make millions of dollars. Rage Against Capitalism and everything that this country stands for. But they got no problem charging $125 at a concert. So they had to wait a couple years to make that millions. And number two, Jehovah's Witnesses did not visit your home. And I'll tell you what, these are the most patient people on earth because I'm rude to them. Even though they're God-fearing people, I'm still rude to them. But anyways, COVID did some good things. I'm not going to go to the next story. I'll have to say that for next week. Anything on the burners? What's coming up? You? Any personal appearances?
Nothing is set up or anything. I got nothing going on. I'm just going to lead a boring September.
How the Yankees doing, sir?
Yeah, they're not doing very well at all.
Anyway.
They are still in first place, but not by much. So we'll just see how it ends. I mean, you got to be in it in order to win it.
Right.
But they haven't played well in a couple of months.
Right, and the Mets were losing against, of all teams, Washington. But anyways, I got some good news and some big news coming down the pike. But once everything's set up and settled, I'll break the big news. But today we hit a little road. I hit a little speed bump, but I'll let everybody know once somewhat good news, I guess. I'm not sure, but we'll have it down the pike. But anyways, coming up, now we got Christmas coming up. We got Thanksgiving coming up. Also, my kid, once again, my kid's school system, they have a 4-day weekend for Labor Day. That's that's another thing. It's Labor Day, you're supposed to, celebrate work, and everybody took off here in DC. The streets are empty, so these people don't work anyways, and they're going to go away for vacation. So I hope when y'all come back Monday, y'all stuck on traffic. But anyways, we made it through another great show. Again, it ended too fast. For Walter Yerkew, this is Peter Scoop Stanton reminding you, you can make a difference. Go out and make it. See you next week, everybody.
James Edwards for 7-5 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.